Hey guys, so we have here a new standing desk, and in this video we want to explain to you how to assemble one of these. So these are all the parts that come with this desk, apart from the tabletop of course. And the first thing we have to do is take apart this bar here. We have to remove this bar from the bottom end of the frame of the legs, because this is like some kind of way that they make sure during transport that nothing gets bent and everything stays in place. And we're going to actually install this bar at the top end of the table right here. And we're going to tighten down this bar with two of these thick and short screws. So we're going to put one screw on each end. And you really want to make sure that you tighten these down well. In general, all the screws should be tightened down really well on one of these tables. So we're going to do this here on both sides. And as soon as we've done that, then we are going to set up the legs upside down. So right now we're looking at the bottom end of the table. So the top end is right now on the floor, and we're going to install basically the feet of the table here. So we're going to use 4 of these long screws. That's what is holding the feet to the legs of the table. So of course we're going to tighten those down really well as well. Also really make sure that this is really tightened down well and aligned well and doesn't wobble around at all. So this is really important for the stability of the table. Then we have these wheels here. And these are also the feet of the table, and we're going to screw those in. And we're going to screw these in all the way. We're going to do this on both ends here. So screw them in all the way, and then later on we can check in case the floor isn't quite even, then we can adjust this accordingly. And also we're going to repeat the same steps here on the second side, on the second leg, of course, as well. So this is now how this table should look like at this point. Now we can already put the table right side up, and it's also a good time right now to make sure that all the screws that were pre-installed or tightened down in the factory, that we make sure that those are also really tightened up. And the next step is then to install these bars on the top of the legs. So these are going to hold on to the tabletop. So there's 2 screws that go in here. So let's tighten those down and make sure that they're really snug. And of course we repeat the same step at the opposite end of the table as well. Also here the 2 screws. And then the next step is to tighten down the motor. And for some reason I missed to press the record button while I assembled the table. So now I'm just going to show you this after the fact. So we have this plastic sleeve here that encapsulates the motor. So the motor is right inside of here. You see this poking through at this end, and we're going to tighten down with this bolt. We're going to tighten down that plastic sleeve, and what you do is you take this plastic sleeve and you stick the motor through it, and then eventually the plastic sleeve has to line up with that metal bar and that screw hole, and that's where you tighten down that screw. So this is what that looks like at this point. So apologies that I didn't actually show you the installation of that plastic sleeve itself. So the next step is now to assemble the tabletop, in case you have to assemble those. So in my case here, these are 2 parts, 2 pieces, and we're going to line those pieces up. And then we have 2 of these brackets, and we're going to first tighten one of them down, but we're actually not tightening them all the way right away. So now at this point we're going to double check that the 2 wood pieces, the tabletop pieces, are really aligned, and then we're going to tighten down that bracket here. And of course we're going to repeat the same step here on the opposite side of the tabletop as well. So now this is what that looks like. Now at this point we can lift the bottom part of the table. We put that upside down and put it upside down on top of this tabletop, and we're going to line up a lot of these holes here that we have in that frame. We're going to line those up with the holes that you see in the tabletop. See these here, for example, right in the center, there's 4 holes. Going to line those up, and then we're tightening these down, tighten down that frame with all these screws. There's a lot of screws that you have to use So there's at least like 12 screws that you see here, or 16 screws that are used in this part. And then once we've tightened that all down, then we can install the control. So this box here, so the controls for lifting and lowering the table. We're going to screw this down with 4 screws, and then we can plug in the motor. So this cable that comes from the motor goes right into the side here. Only fits in one direction. And then we have these little stickies here. We can stick those onto the bottom side of that tabletop, and those have some clips. And those allow us to fasten down those cables, the wires that we have here, so they don't dangle down, hang down from the table. So then the last step is here to plug in the power cord, and then we can lift the table, move it upright, and this is best to do with 2 people. And then we're plugging it in, and then the first thing we should do is usually to calibrate this table. So there's like a reset button. If we hold this, then the table is going to move all the way down and then move a little bit up. And now at this point the table is calibrated. It knows exactly which position it is in. And then the next step here is to adjust the legs or the feet of the table. So in case the table is right now a little bit wobbly, then you can rotate some of these wheels or these screws and make the table level. Now, in order to organize our cables better, we have these 2 holes here that we can push the cables through, so that makes it look nicer and more organized. And that is already it. We have completed the assembly of our standing desk, and I hope you found this video helpful. And if you have any more questions or comments, then please leave a message below.